Hello, and welcome to day 4, the final day of our spring home buying forum. Today's topic will be affordable paths to home ownership, and we're really excited that you were able to join us today. I'm your host. I'm Jen Fries, the Community Engagement Manager for the Harvard University Employees Credit Union. A little bit to know about today's webinar. We cannot hear the attendees, we cannot see you, so you can go ahead and enjoy your lunch or anything you need to do while participating in the webinar. Don't worry about that. We're going to ask you to use the Q&A feature if you would like to submit questions during the webinar. We did get some of your questions ahead of time if you submitted one when you registered, and we'll try and get to as many as we can near the end of the presentation. We have a lot of content to go through today. But go ahead and drop a question in at any time and we'll save them to the end. If you don't mind going into the Q&A now and trying it out, let us know where you're joining from. We would love to hear where people are logging in from. This presentation is being recorded. It will be posted on our YouTube channel. Our handle on YouTube and on all the socials is myHUECU. If you registered for this webinar, you're going to get that link as well, so you'll be able to rewatch it. At the end, we're going to ask you to fill out a survey and let us know how we did, and we would appreciate your honest feedback. If you get an email from me about a raffle prize, it is not spam. It is because just by being here as an attendee at this webinar, you have been automatically entered into a raffle for prizes. We're going to choose at random a winner for an Amazon Echo Dot, a Ring doorbell, some fabulous HU/ECU swag, and gift cards to Etsy and Lowe's. So good luck, and that's really just a thank you for coming to the webinar. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to do this. A little bit about the credit union. The Harvard University Employees Credit Union was founded by and is run by Harvard employees. We are a not-for-profit financial institution, and we're owned by the members. And because we are not-for-profit and because we don't have shareholders, we are able to offer some of the best rates and services out there. We're not responsible to try and provide a profit to a shareholder. We are concerned with having the best services that we can possibly for all of our membership. So I know most of you who are on this call are already members of the credit union. However, if you are not, we would love to have you join. We have different paths to membership, so please check out our website and reach out. You can be part of the credit union from anywhere in the country. We have nationwide shared branching with other co-ops and credit unions, so you can always walk in and bank at one of those in person. You can also, of course, use online banking and have the credit union in your pocket. So we would love to have you join if you're not already a member. So this is the final day of our 4-day homebuyer forum. All of the prior days are going to be posted on our YouTube channel. So if you missed a day and you want to check that out, please do that. So we've heard from a number of different kinds of experts, including a realtor, an appraiser, a home inspector, and an attorney, mortgage loan officers. And today we're going to hear from the city of Cambridge and 2 of our mortgage loan officers who are going to tell you about different affordable housing ownership programs. So just to tell you a little bit about our panelists, Sharon Cummings has more than 30 years of experience in the credit union industry, including 15 years in the mortgage area. Sharon brings just a wealth of information and expertise to the table, and she is just dedicated to top-notch service for the folks that are coming to see her. So you're gonna love hearing from her. We also are gonna hear from Helen Laskaris. She has been helping homebuyers through the credit union since 2016. She's assisted over 300 members in their journey toward home ownership. And she has a background in credit review, and she has a skill in helping qualify members successfully for your mortgages. She really believes that homeownership is a part of wealth creation for individuals and families, and it's a really key thing. So she loves being part of that. We also have Anna Dolmatch here from the city of Cambridge. She's a senior manager for home ownership for the city of Cambridge and has been with the city for more than 17 years and oversees a variety of affordable home ownership programs. So we're really delighted to have all these panelists here for you today. And we're going to start with Sharon Cummings.
Hello, thank you, Jen, and all of our guests today. We're really looking forward to today's presentation. Just to go over a little bit of what we are going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about the market, the current market. We're also going to be talking about the Home Ready program, which is offered by Fannie Mae. We've been doing Home Ready programs for some time now, so we have a lot of background in that. We're going to talk about the mass housing program. This is very new to the credit union, and we're really excited. I think this is going to open a lot of opportunities for our members to become homeowners. We're going to touch upon down payment assistance programs. And then we're going to have Anna speak to us from the city of Cambridge to go over different programs that the city offers. Next slide. Okay, so the credit union is, as Jen mentioned, non-for-profit. There's some benefits of having the credit union on your team. I think one of the biggest benefits that I can say proudly is that we personalize all your service. We try to work with each member individually and work with them through the whole process. We offer a range of mortgage products. We have competitive rates, and we do also offer closing cost credits. We do give our first-time homebuyer mortgage members discounted interest rates, and we also give a closing cost credit for all of our first-time homebuyers. We have many programs. Some offer 3% down products. We have low down payment options, including we'll work with other institutions or other financial agencies to bring grants on, and we'll get into that with the Mass Save and the City of Cambridge. Our process is completely digital. Everything is done online. So when you do submit your application at the very beginning, that's going to be your portal. You'll work through that portal. Updates will be made to the portal, both from the credit union and from you. Everything we do at the credit union is done by the credit union, which is, I think, a huge plus. Our origination staff, our processing, underwriting, closing, and servicing teams all work at the credit union. So everything that's done for your mortgage is handled by a credit union employee. We offer portfolio lending. And what that means is sometimes we'll be working on a file and we'll be, for instance, a condo, and we follow what are called Fannie Mae guidelines. Sometimes something comes unique about the condo that doesn't meet the portfolio Fannie Mae guidelines. And that doesn't mean that we can't continue with the process. We review all of the properties individually and we can make exceptions. So we are a portfolio lender. Next slide, please. The affordability market. As we heard from prior guests earlier in the week, inventory is low. There's not a lot of houses right now that are listed, that are on the market. House prices have not changed. We have not seen house prices decline over the last couple of years. Rates have gone up, which it's not been a music to everyone's ears, but they are definitely trending down. They're probably trending down a little bit slower than we anticipated, but they're definitely trending down. The projections for the upcoming year is if rates continue to come down, that opens up doors for sellers who are looking to put their properties on the market. They're looking to buy new homes. They're okay with the rates. They don't want to put their house on the market until rates come down, because they're only going to be forced to take on a higher interest rate. But I definitely think if rates come down, it's going to increase the inventory, and I think prices are going to remain stable. I don't think we're going to see a drop in values. I think they're all steady And if anything, they'll probably continue going up. Next slide. And now I'm going to turn this over to my colleague, Helen Laskaris. Helen is fabulous, and she'll go over all the different products that we offer to low to moderate income buyers.
Helen, I think that you're on mute. We cannot hear you right now, Helen. Sharon, do you want to
Yep.
take this?
Yep,
Sorry.
absolutely. So the two programs that we're going to talk about today is the Home Ready Mortgage Program, which I mentioned. The Home Ready Mortgage Program is a fabulous program. We've been offering it to members for years. Home Ready is a Fannie Mae product, and it truly helps first-time home buyers get into a home. They offer an additional discounted interest rate, and they also offer an additional closing cost credit. Home Ready, it's a program, it's geared to income. So it's an income program that you'll have to qualify based on income levels. We can sit down with you, any of the mortgage loan originators at the credit union can sit down and talk about, each product in depth with you, because there's a lot of information and a lot of great information. Our mass housing program is geared, it's a new program. We're really excited. This is geared to strictly first-time home buyers. I didn't mention that prior. Home Ready, you have to be a first-time home buyer, but that includes if you've not owned a home in the last 3 years. Mass housing, you have to be a first-time home buyer for this program here. And I'll just check in, is Helen available or?
We cannot hear you. Maybe
Okay.
it might be time to take the headset out and try it that way on the computer audio.
Okay, we can go to the next slide as well.
Okay.
Home Ready Mortgage, the benefits of the Home Ready Mortgage, we give, as I mentioned, we give a closing cost credit, which is additional. So everybody at the credit union right now who is a first-time home buyer, as a credit union first-time home buyer, we give a closing cost credit of approximately $500. The Home Ready Mortgage, we give an additional incentive. Private mortgage insurance, what private mortgage insurance is, if you put less than 20% down on a home when you're purchasing a home, the lender requires private mortgage insurance. For Home Ready borrowers, private mortgage insurance is discounted. So that's a perk of the Home Ready Mortgage Program. We also give an additional interest rate discount. I mentioned that our first-time home buyers do receive a discounted interest rate. However, with the Home Ready Mortgage Program, the interest rate discount is additional. So it's a generous savings on the rate. Home Ready has some border income you can use, and what that means is if you've been a renter for a while, but you've had a tenant, or you've had a friend living with you, and they've been paying you each month, they've been paying you a share of the rent, and you've been paying the owner of the home, we can possibly use some of that income as border income to help you qualify. And it looks like Helen's back.
Can you hear me, everyone?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon.
Helen. Oh,
I
thank
don't know
you.
what happened. But so I want to talk, I'll pick up where Sharon left off and talk about the eligibility for a home ready mortgage. Mainly this product we use for first-time home buyers. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer. The lowest credit score is 620, but we've talked about credit throughout the week. And I noticed on the roster, a lot of people are, 2 years or so away from maybe considering their purchase. And I really think credit is a great place to start. We have GreenPath, our financial partner, who can do a credit report with you and, help you boost your score, because I want to see everybody's score in the 700s. The PMI payment on a home ready mortgage for someone with a 620 credit score could be $200 higher than someone with a 740 credit score. And it's it's pretty easy, I think, if you give yourself some lead time to really boost your credit score. I've seen members increase their score by, say, 50 points in or 100 points in short order. Also, the Home Ready Mortgage does have income restrictions. It's limited to 80% the borrower income of the area median income. Now, I've put the area median income for Middlesex County. We put that in the slide, but we're putting the lookup tool there. This is available in all the states we lend in, which is all the New England states and Florida. And depending that number, the area median income, 80%, will be different. So whether you qualify for this program will depend on the median income for that particular county. Additionally, you will have to complete a Fannie Mae Home View homebuyer course. And this is an online course. I think it might take a couple hours. I do think it's worth it for you to do that. Even though the certificate might be good for a year, I think it's a really good, course to take to get more background information. The more information that you get, the more comfortable you're going to be when you do enter seriously getting pre-approved and starting to make offers on property. Home Ready does allow non-occupant borrowers. So typically, let's say if you had a second job, you need to have it for 2 years in order for that income to be considered under Home Ready. But let's say you have a second job, you feel confident about it. And if we could have used that, you would qualify. So you might ask a parent or a sibling, could you co-sign this, be a non-occupant co-borrower with me, even though they might own a home? That's fine. You would still qualify to use them to help you get approved. Now, the one great thing, and these mortgages, we realize that the affordability has gotten worse in the past several years with the low inventory, as Sharon described, with interest rates going up. It was even mentioned in the State of the Union last night. I don't know if that will ever come to fruition, that first-time home buyers are going to get a $400 a month credit to their mortgage for the first 2 years. So it's on everyone's mind. It's still the American dream, hoping these programs are going to help you reach it, but we do understand the challenge that you're facing. So they keep expanding the program and making the eligibility more flexible. So this year, on a single family or a condominium, there's no borrower contribution required for the down payment. There is a 3% down payment required on a single or a condominium, but it can come from a gift. It can come from a grant. It could even be cash you have on hand. On normal homebuyer programs, you would have to put 3% down of your own money. Now, if you're looking for a multifamily under Home Ready, the minimum down payment that you have to make is 3%. I think that's pretty low. It used to be 15% and higher. So they're recognizing and trying to be more flexible. One thing to keep in mind, even though you may not have to come up with a down payment, you can get that from other sources under this program. You may have to show reserves. So you can use a gift or grants towards down payment and closing costs, but depending, you would have to come up with 0 to 6 months of your total monthly housing payment in reserves, which means after you close on this loan, what do you have left in your assets? And depending on your credit profile, your income, et cetera, there would be a request for a certain amount of reserves. Retirement assets can be used to the reserves, but they really want to see you be successful. So keep in mind that you would need to have some assets for reserve, but there's a lot of assistance coming your way with these programs with the Home Ready. And let's go to the next slide. So this is Mass Housing, has been around for a while. You might have heard they had a special program several years ago called the Dream Mortgage, and everybody got excited about it, but the money goes fast. So it's good to be pre-approved for these special kind of one-offs that they offer. They may have had a lot of money from the pandemic and used it for the Dream Grant. But the Mass Housing program is new to us this year, really excited about it. What are the benefits of the Mass Housing program? The benefits of Mass Housing are very good down payment assistance. Their Workforce Advantage program has $30,000 in down payment assistance. If you don't qualify for that program, because that program requires household income, all the people living in your household have to be below the income threshold for the product. Other products that they offer have 25,000 in down payment assistance and a 15-year term at a 2% mortgage. But it's still a great benefit to have that. They also have their own private mortgage insurance called MI Plus. If you do qualify for the Workforce Advantage program with the 30,000 in down payment assistance, the MI is paid by Mass Housing. You will not have an MI payment, private mortgage insurance. They call it MI Plus. If you will have a private mortgage insurance payment, it will be discounted on most of their programs. Additionally, this is a Mass Housing unique feature. They have a mortgage payment protection benefit. So if you lose your job for whatever, due to the economy, there is some downsizing going on, they will make your mortgage payment, principal and interest only. You're still responsible for taxes and home insurance or condo fee for up to 6 months. So that's a really great safety net for you if you're kind of nervous about purchasing and you qualify for the Mass Housing program. Mass Housing has your back on the mortgage insurance if something were to happen. So let's go to the next slide. So what's the eligibility for Mass Housing? I'm going to contrast it a little with Home Ready as I talk about it, because as we're new to it, as we've been talking to people about these programs, based on their situations, it seems clear which direction they should go in. So Mass Housing, you have to be a first-time home buyer to access the down payment assistance. They have a minimum credit score of 640. They are looking for a debt ratio, it's not on here, but of no more than 45%. That means your gross income compared with all the monthly payments on your credit report plus this proposed housing payment cannot exceed 45%. They're pretty strict about that. Home Ready, you can kind of, if you have a good credit profile, I've seen the debt ratio go up to in the 49%, never up to 50, but close. It's possible. So they have a little more flexibility there. Mass Housing, you must occupy as a primary residence for the life of the loan. Home Ready doesn't have that requirement. You do have to occupy as your primary for the first year, but they don't prohibit you from in the future renting out the property. For Mass Housing, you have to occupy for the life of the loan as your primary residence. If you decide that you want to rent your property, or move, and you'd have to sell or refinance if you were going to move out of the property and you had a Mass Housing loan. So, and the income limits for the Mass Housing program, they have several programs and they vary. The strictest income limits are on the Workforce Advantage, but that program has the most benefits. So we'd be looking to see if you can qualify for that program. They do have home buyer education that's required and landlord counseling if you're looking for a 2 to 4 unit property. I think we put the link in the chat. Their home buyer education is in person. I think it's like 8 hour. You get a certificate from the company that's doing the presentation, the home buying education, and I think it's good for a year. All these education classes, if you have the time, I recommend them because they're going to give you a lot more resources, a lot more information to make you feel comfortable moving forward. Let's go to the next slide. So another down payment assistance option that we have at the credit union is offered through the Federal Home Loan Bank of Boston. We are a member of the Federal Home Loan Bank of Boston. You cannot get this benefit from a mortgage company. You can only get it from a member of the Federal Home Loan Bank. So the Lift Up program, down payment assistance, is not active right now. The two programs that they are going to be releasing funds to are the Equity Builder program and the Housing Workforce program. The Equity Builder is strictly, you must be a first-time home buyer. They're looking at your household income to be up to 80% of the area median income, and they would provide you with a $30,000 grant forgivable over 5 years. So that's a really, really great down payment assistance option. Housing Our Workforce is for people in a little higher income category. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer for Housing Our Workforce. And the maximum grant would be 10% of the sale price or $25,000. The caveat with the Federal Home Loan Bank is that you can't reserve the funds. So it's only available first come, first serve. You must have a fully executed purchase and sale to apply for this option. You can pair it with the Home Ready too, with the Home Ready mortgage, if you want to. With Mass Housing, you have to take their down payment assistance. It's possible that you could get some from here too, but the Mass Housing down payment assistance is there for you if you qualify for the program when you find the property. The Federal Home Loan Bank, they release the money in groupings, like starting, I think, April 1st, and it runs out really quickly. But if you qualified for this, we would certainly, and you had an accepted offer and you signed a purchase and sale, we would certainly submit an application for you for this down payment assistance. And this is available in all the New England states too. So if you want to live in New Hampshire, you're not going to be able to use Mass Housing. So you might do Home Ready and pair it with the Federal Home Loan Bank down payment assistance. Let's go to the next slide. So, our contact information is on the website. We know this is a challenge right now. We're really excited about these opportunities we have with these programs with down payment assistance that we're offering. We didn't have Mass Housing before. We hope that you contact us to talk to us and we can go through your specifics and see where you fall within these program offerings. We have a lot of information on our products on the website, and we would welcome the opportunity to talk with you, and we thank you for taking the time out today to listen to our presentation.
Thank you so much, Helen. So we do want to reiterate, this is really complicated stuff. You don't have to know all the ins and outs. You're not going to come out of this knowing it back and front like Helen and Sharon do, but you don't need to because they're here for you. So we have a number of mortgage loan officers, and Helen and Sharon are two of them. And any one of our mortgage loan officers is going to be able to walk you through what you might be eligible for. And I do want to point out that Daisy Familia is a mortgage loan officer who is fluent in Spanish. So if that's something of interest to you or in your family, then be in touch with Daisy, please. And we just put into the chat how to reach our mortgage loan officers online. So, and now we're delighted to hear from Anna Dolmatch from the city of Cambridge now. We are also going to put in the chat, I know a number of people said they're joining from Boston, and there are some Boston specific programs that are available to you. And I'm just going to drop that into the chat now as well. But Anna, thank you and take it away.
Thanks so much, Jen. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm very happy to be here to talk about some more complicated programs and just give you a brief overview of the City of Cambridge affordable homeownership programs. Next. So I'm part of the City of Cambridge Housing Department. We offer homeownership opportunities that we'll talk about today. We also have an affordable rental program and work throughout the city on affordable housing development and other policy and program. Next. So I'm going to talk about kind of our three main first-time homebuyer opportunities that the city offers, and just to give an overview, and then we'll get into more detail on each one. So the first is HomeBridge, which is a program that provides funds to eligible buyers to purchase homes on the open market. The second is our homeownership resale pool, which matches waiting buyers with affordable homes that are being resold through the city when the owner sells. And the third is lotteries. These are opportunities to apply for new units, affordable units that are being offered through the city for the first time ever. Next. So kind of general requirements to purchase through the city's homebuyer programs. We have programs that serve a range of households, starting with 50% up to 120% of area median income, also called AMI. Our programs are open for anyone to apply. Some programs do use a preference point system that gives preference for things like being a Cambridge resident or having children of a certain age, being a veteran. And then for non-Cambridge residents, we do give a preference for Cambridge-based workers. Different opportunities also have specific occupancy standards as well as asset requirements. Next. So this gives you an idea of the range of incomes when we talk about those different AMI limits. So you can see for a single person, we have programs that would be open to someone at 52,000 up to 125,000. So it is a very wide income range that are able to apply for some of our different programs. Next. So one of the other things that all of our programs have in common is that there is an affordable housing restriction. So this is required of all buyers to sign at purchase. Our restriction is permanent. It does not expire. You can't pay it off and then have an unrestricted unit. Some of the terms are that owner occupancy is required. It cannot be rented. The price is restricted, so the value increases based on a formula in the restriction, not a market value. This is not a way to become kind of wealthy through real estate. It's a way to have a home that you own in Cambridge with stable housing costs and some asset building. The city holds a purchase right, so when someone wants to sell, they need to notify us. And also it must be sold to an income eligible buyer. The home will remain affordable. And you can only finance kind of within that affordable value. So those are some of the broad terms of the affordable housing restriction. Next. And then to talk about the specific programs that we offer, the first is the Homebridge program, which again is financial assistance for eligible applicants to purchase on the open market. So this program is open to buyers with incomes between 60% and 120% on that area median income chart. It's open to both current Cambridge residents and households that have at least one Cambridge-based worker. So there's no preference points or lottery or waiting list. The applications are taken on a rolling basis. The funds bridge the gap between what the eligible buyer can afford and what the market price is up to a limit that we'll talk about. And when you're approved, you have to go find your own unit on the market, which, as we've heard many times, is very challenging right now. These funds are not a down payment or buyer equity, so they're sort of a permanent investment by the city in making this home permanently affordable. So it's not considered part of your down payment. It's separate from that. It just permanently reduces that price. Next. So to use Homebridge, you submit an application that includes income, asset documentation, and a mortgage pre-approval. That mortgage pre-approval can be from any lender. It's not limited to certain lenders. They just would have to be open to working with the restriction that the city has. So again, there's a minimum and maximum income for the program. You have to have sufficient assets to purchase a home, and typically that's that 3% down. And we require that before the city gives you funds, assets over 40,000 in liquid accounts are contributed, and your housing payment needs to be within this certain range. So not everybody qualifies to purchase at the maximum price or to receive the maximum assistance. It's a very specific kind of customized calculation for each applicant. So just to give you an idea, next slide, please, of what those price limits and assistance amounts look like. So this is our current limits. And again, these are subject to change. But right now, the maximum market price you can see for 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms, the city provides up to 50% of the market price for a 1, 60% for a 2, and 65% for a 3 bedroom, up to assistance of $715,000. So it is a significant investment in creating this affordable home. Next. So just a little bit more about Homebridge. When you get an approval, it's good for 4 months with the possibility to extend. You go out on the market. If you find something, it has to meet some program standards for condition, and no multifamilies, so either a condo or a single family, although in Cambridge it's almost always a single condo. And then our first time home buyer coordinator works with your buyer, the realtor, the lender, and everyone else to get to this closing point. So there's a lot of support for homebridge buyers as they move through the process. And then the homebridge funds are brought to the closing, and you're good to go. Next. Our next program is our resale pool. So this is one application that puts you in a pool for existing affordable homes being resold through the city. So this is when the current buyer sells. And this is open to buyers with incomes between 50% and 100% AMI. It's a rolling application. You can apply anytime. There are preference points that are used. So again, there's kind of the preference for Cambridge residents and households with children before other households. And eligible applications are added to the pool kind of based on what unit size you would be eligible for, your preference point, and then your date and time of application. So that's how people are ordered within the pool. Next. So just a quick overview of how it works. You're in the pool and an owner sells and the city exercises that purchase right. We send a group of applicants in the pool, not everyone, kind of the top group, information, a virtual tour, invite you to come see it. If you're interested, you'd say, I'm interested, and you go through kind of a full update of your eligibility. Then we look at the offers in terms of how long someone's been in the pool and how high their preferences are. And that person would have the first opportunity to purchase. Then we would go to the next person. Next. The third program we offer are lotteries. So this is when units are coming in brand new buildings. Many of these come through the inclusionary housing program, which is a zoning requirement the city has for buildings of a certain size to have a certain percentage of affordable units. There's a maximum income limit that kind of varies by lottery depending on the building. Asset requirements, again, it's open to everyone, but that preference point system is applied. Once the application deadline passes, we screen applicants for the lottery. In they go and are randomly drawn based on those kind of preference point groups. So again, it's not a waiting list. You could, be pulled first. So that's one of the appealing things about lotteries. We do have a lottery that we expect to open on March 18th. So that's a week from Monday for 1 3-bedroom and 2 2-bedroom units in a new building in Cambridge. So the link that was put in the chat, and that's at the bottom of the slide, is to sign up to be notified when there's a new lottery. So you can sign up once, and all lotteries in the future, you will get an email notification when there's a new lottery until you ask to be taken off that list. So, next. So this is just a picture of some of the really wide range of homes that are in our program, ranging from high rises to townhouses to everything in between in almost every corner of the city. So there's a lot of variety that's available through our programs. Next. We also offer a first-time homebuyer class, a free virtual class offered up to 10 times per year. It's an 8-hour class that's typically in 4 2-hour sessions once a week in the evening that has the range of experts, a realtor, a lender, a home inspector, attorney, insurance, and we also talk more about our programs. You get a certificate upon completion. This is a CHAPA certified certificate that's good for 3 years, which can be used to qualify for certain special mortgage products and programs. So our class registration is required and it's limited, and it usually opens the month before the class starts, usually in the second week. So I would expect the April class registration to open next week. So you can check the link that's in the chat is where you can go to learn more and register for that class. Next. And for more information, there's our General Housing Department website. We have an email for the home ownership program. It's a general email that reaches a whole bunch of us, so you can send any questions there. And the best first step, again, this is a very compressed overview. We have a full hour-long virtual information session that we offer at least twice a month, usually, where you can learn more about all the programs and ask questions. And there is a link to register on our website along with a full schedule. So you can go there and sign up if you would like a more in-depth program overview. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna. Now I'm going to ask all of our panelists to come back on screen, and we will try to get through as many questions as we can that we received ahead of time, as well as questions that people have been putting in during the webinar. Attendees, if you have a question, go ahead and drop it into the Q&A, and we will definitely try and get to that. The first question is for Helen or Sharon. When can I apply for the mass housing program with the credit union? Maybe Helen, could you answer that?
Sure. You can apply anytime. We are active in the program, so we'd be happy to pre-approve you and see if you qualify for the program. To actually do the application for the mass housing program, you have to have a purchase and sale. It's a little similar to the federal home loan grant I mentioned, but we can certainly review the guidelines and see whether you qualify for it, and then give you a pre-approval that would be consistent with the mass housing guidelines.
And Helen, just while I have you on, we have another question. How long after joining the credit union can one access mortgage loans from it? So is there a waiting period?
Absolutely not. Immediately. And sometimes people come to us first, even before they've joined the credit union. So they talk with us first and then they join the credit union. So there's no waiting period. We welcome you to contact us, whenever you're ready, and as soon as possible, depending on when you're looking or what you'd like to know. And there's just so many products and services the credit union offers. So by becoming a member, even though you're here for the mortgage, the affordable housing presentation today, there's just so much at the credit union. And when you join, you get to learn about all the benefits. And the Green Path is also available to you as well. I think it's available to all members. You don't have to have a mortgage application or pre-approval.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that just after questions. I do have a slide about that.
Okay.
So Green Path is a great resource for all members. Sharon, could you tell us a little bit about what qualifies as a first-time home buyer? If you haven't owned a home in a while, but you did in the past, how does that work?
Yes, absolutely. For most of our products, first-time home buyer is someone who has not owned a home in the last 3 years. So if you had a home sold at, 3 years plus a day, you're a first-time home buyer. Also at the credit union, if the application is a joint application, only one of the borrowers need to be a first-time home buyer or not owned a home in the last 3 years. So even if there's 2 people on the application, one has owned a home in the past, only one needs to be a first-time home buyer to get the benefits that the credit union offers.
Great, thank you. So I think this question is probably best answered by Anna. Could you go over again the eligibility for the Home Bridge program?
So the preliminary eligibility is earning at least 60% of the area median income and no more than 120%. Within that, with Homebridge, there's a lot of different requirements. You need to have sufficient assets for a down payment and closing costs. You need to have a mortgage pre-approval that supports a housing payment that's a minimum of 25% of your gross monthly income, but no more than 33%. And then we take these different inputs and determine kind of what would your maximum affordable price be, which is what the buyer is paying. And then the city comes in with the matching funds if somebody is eligible. But really, a good first step is to attend an information session where we get much more in depth about every kind of detail of Homebridge, and then kind of potentially talk with our homebuyer coordinator and see if the program's a good fit, because you want to be able to access a purchase price that's realistic in the market. So it's not necessarily the best fit for everybody, but that's why we do have those kind of pre-screening conversations. But because each award is very specific to the individual, the first thing is really to make sure you're within that income range and can access a pre-approval that would support purchasing.
Thank you. So Helen, are the programs that have been discussed today something that's considered in pre-qualifying? And will the buyer have to know about all these offers, or does the credit union help me to find out what works best?
We would help you find which programs you qualify for. So when you say pre-qualify, there's a difference between a pre-qualification and pre-approval. I'm just going to quickly say what it is. Pre-qualification is just calling us. You tell us your salary, you tell us your debts. We're not looking at your pay stubs. We're happy to if you want us to. We're not looking at your credit report. We're just going by verbally what you tell us. And then we're looking to see where does that fit into our programs. And we might tell you you're eligible for Home Ready, you're eligible for mass housing. That's great news. Or even if you're not, we'll tell you what you are eligible for, give you an estimate of a monthly payment, and we take it from there.
Thank you. Sharon, we have someone on who's a single parent and would like to know what's the minimum income you need to purchase a house that's roughly around 500,000. I know you might not have those figures right in front of you, but can you give us
Right.
a chance on that?
Yeah. So that's a little bit of a hard question to answer, and reason being is because every city or town we have to take into consideration property taxes, we have to take into consideration homeowners insurance, private mortgage insurance, down payment. But as Helen mentioned and I mentioned, we are more than happy to sit down and have a conversation with you over your individual, income, what debt you have, and give you a good idea of what you would qualify based on your situation. So it's hard to say exactly because there's so many pieces that get added into that. If you have other debt, if you have a car loan, it all goes into play. But we could have a 25-minute conversation, and I could give you that information very quickly based on your individual need.
Thank you. Yes, I'm definitely going to encourage people to be reaching out to the experts who are on this call. And we're also going to talk about Green Path, and I think we'll put that into the chat. Through the credit union, you have access to individual financial counseling, and that financial counseling can help you improve your credit. And it's through a nonprofit called Green Path that we're partners with. That financial counseling can also help you with various aspects of home ownership or renting. It can help you with debt counseling and figuring out a plan to get out of debt, and maybe improve your income debt ratios that were mentioned. So do check out Green Path. It's definitely a resource for our members as well. Let's see. There have been a number of questions about timing. If you already own a home and you're selling, or if you are thinking about buying about a year from now, like how do you time reaching out, Helen, maybe to the credit union? When should people be doing that? At how far ahead of time before they get onto the market?
Well, I think if you're thinking about buying in a year from now, I recommend doing the pre-qualification now. That's just the initial conversation, just to talk about this is where you look like you stand right now. You might not be, you probably will be in a similar situation a year from now. And then you would, contact a realtor and talk about, where properties are in that price range. You never know. I have people who say, get pre-qualified, say they're looking in a year, 2 weeks later, they get a pre-approval and an accepted offer. So things happen quickly. If you do, I know we all do, I do, I'm constantly on my phone looking at Redfin and looking at properties all over the country, all around Massachusetts, just because I love real estate, and you might be doing that too. And then you see something you really like, even though you're planning for a year from now, it's still, close enough to get pre-qualified. do the credit report review, because we want your credit to be in tip-top shape by the year from now when you want to buy. And if something happens and something comes up sooner, we can get a pre-approval done in a day. So we work really fast here when needed. So we're really easy to talk to. I know a lot of people might dread calling for whatever reason. We don't judge anyone, scold anyone. We're here to be a resource and to help you where you're at right now. Some people find out, I really need to work on my credit, or I really am looking for a higher price point. I really need to save more, or whatever, or work on my debts or whatever. So we're really encourage you to reach out to us, because everyone's situation is unique, and it's sometimes hard to on a big, with a group, give very specific advice to someone, because it might not apply generally.
Right, of course. Thank you. Sharon, we have someone on the call who is a new resident in the United States, has never owned property here, but did own a home in their home country and sold it last year. Would they be considered a first-time home buyer?
It depends on the program that you're going into. Absolutely, we would do some research ourselves to see if that would, but as a first-time home buyer, you're stating that you have not owned a home in the last 3 years. So that would take you out of the pool of being a first-time home buyer. Generally, I would say we should have a conversation and kind of get a little bit deeper into the conversation and just be sure that we're not missing anything.
Yep.
But as I said, on the application that you do complete, it says, have you owned a home in the last 3 years? And the answer would be yes. So that could exclude you from being a first-time home buyer.
Thank you. We had a question. Does the credit union offer mortgages on fixer-upper homes? Maybe Helen, you could answer that.
Well, a lot of people ask that question. It depends on what you mean by fixer-upper. The home would have to be appraised as part of the loan process, and the home would have to be able to be lived in as it is. So if it's dated, of course, that's no problem, as long as everything's functioning. But if, say, the kitchen is ripped out, or there's septic, this can't pass septic, if it's in a town with septic, then we can't. And, on a fixer-upper, a lot of times, sometimes we have people that do have down payment, 20%, and we might say, well, do you have the renovation funds? And if they don't, we can say, pull back your down payment a little bit and save those funds for your renovation. So we can, we're not talking about it in this particular day, but we can lend up to $1 million loan with just 5% down. So, but yes, the fixer-upper can be financed as long as it can be lived in as is. It can be lived in as is.
Okay. Sharon, I'll kick this one to you. We have someone on who's a member of the credit union. They're going to co-sign a loan for their child. Does the child need to be a member? And will the parents' income disqualify the child from the mass housing program or any other first-time home buyer programs?
So yes, your child would need to be a member if they're going to be on the application. Any family member at the as a credit union member is eligible for membership. So they are eligible for membership. The mass housing program does take into consideration all income, whereas Fannie Mae, you can be a non-occupant co-borrower and not include that income. So we have different programs for different scenarios. And in general, the credit union offers our own first-time home buyer. And if you're on there as a non-occupant co-borrower, we would use your income to help qualify. But you don't necessarily need to be on title. You could just be on the application to help your child get into the home.
Wonderful, thank you. I see a lot of the other questions, I think, would relate to GreenPath. So I think I'm going to go on from here, but thank you to our panel. I'm going to just give our people on the call some information about GreenPath because I think it's a great resource for you. So first, the credit union does have a blog and a page that gives you access to all the different pieces of financial counseling that we've mentioned. One of the most valuable things for folks who are looking for a home right now would be to go into this page or go directly to our link with GreenPath, which is here. So it's huecu.org/greenpath. And GreenPath is a nonprofit partner of the credit union, and they provide free counseling to our members on financial issues such as housing, credit, budget, and debt. And if you're facing sort of that can include student loans, which some of the questions were about. If you're facing sort of overwhelming debt, or you're just not sure how to go about paying back your debt, you can also take another step with them at a very low cost called debt management program. And that's a plan to get out of debt, and a structured plan with GreenPath where you pay them and they pay your creditors, and they have a plan for you within a certain number of years to get out of debt, or months, depending what's going on in your life. So those services are available to you. We definitely encourage people to reach out to GreenPath. They're not going to try and sell you anything. They're a nonprofit. So they'll just go through the things that are available for free. And then if you want the debt management plan, they'll explain that to you. It's very low cost through the credit union. So we definitely encourage people to do that, as well as, of course, being in touch with our mortgage loan officers who are experts in how to qualify for different plans and programs and what you need in individual circumstances. We would love your feedback on this session and all the sessions we've had of the Homebuyer Forum. So you'll receive a link in your email, but also huecu.org/survey is the easiest way to give us feedback. And we do look at all the feedback, so please feel free to let us know how we did. And finally, again, our handle on social media and YouTube is myhuecu. And then our website is huecu.org. So please be in touch with us. Our main branch is at 104 Mount Auburn Street in Cambridge, but we have branches in the Longwood Medical area at MGH and other satellite branches. Finally, I just want to give a disclaimer. Obviously, the information that we presented here is educational in nature. It's should not be taken as tax, legal, investment advice. All those are things you need to be talking with an expert directly about your particular situation. So please do that. Reach out to the experts on this call, but also reach out to your tax and legal advisors if you want something specific about your situation. And we thank you all so much for attending, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day.